My project is an electroacoustic 12-stringer that will be shaped like a strat, with all the cutaways and a stealth 12-stringer head that looks like a 6-stringer strat head. I had the idea for this head a year and a half ago and used it on a 12-stringer guitar made, and it works really well. The strings have a pretty straight path to the tuner and stability is insane, and the result is a stealth 12-stringer that from the front looks like a regular strat. To get it right, I had to make a bunch of prototypes there. Cutting the Louro-Preto piece to make the scarf head joint, I like a head angle of 13 degrees, which I achieve by cutting and flipping the headpiece, the so-called scarf joint. This produces a much stronger guitar head, which is important as we're making a 12-stringer. I don't have a bandsaw, and I haven't found a better way to do this other than hand cut the wood after supergluing 2 MDF pieces to work as guides. The idea is to get the cut done and tidy it up later. At last I get to show some actual building. It was all quite successful, though the Louro-Preto did fight back a bit. The worst was a massive allergic reaction I started getting from contact with the Louro-Preto dust. I eventually had to totally cover up in order to get the work done. Tidying the cut. Not much to say here aside from the fact that I like to use a paint stripping disc on my grinder, as I find it more gentle than a sanding disc. I also use some very heavy grain sandpaper to grind surfaces down. Gluing the join. I absolutely hate glued parts sliding about, so I like to add a couple of nails somewhere just to stop that from happening. As this is quite hardwood, I don't want to risk splitting it, so I'm using the drill to bed the nails. Routing the head shape. Now, I've already done this head configuration in the past. It works really well, but requires precise measurements. Once I've routed out the outline, I route the inside cut for the second row of tuners. I'll smooth it all later by hand. thicknessing the head. To slim the head down, I used my thicknessing rig. It's basically a flat board with sides of equal height. The router sits on a sled. Drilling the tuner holes. This has to be done very carefully, and I don't have a drill press, so I use an old trick to make sure the holes are perfectly vertical. I haven't yet decided if I'll be using the little finishing eyes. We'll see. There was a bit of a setback at the end as I discovered that the lovely vintage locking tuners I got weren't going to work, as the ends of the shafts hit the locking screws, so I had to replace them. The S inlay. In the past I've used a Gothic style S, but this time I decided to go for a swirly one with 2 inlaid pieces of Sodalite. The S is made with some flat aluminium wire. routing the neck. Not much to say here, other than I'm going for an electric Fender style neck profile. Gluing the S in with super glue and wood shaving to fill the gaps. Binding the head. I decided to do this to up the ante a bit. I mostly glued it using acetone, an amazing trick I learnt from one of Texas Toast's videos. In some places I use super glue. I also use my brand new heat gun to bend the binding. After a bit of experimenting, I found that the best way is to hit it for about 10 seconds and then bend it by hand. The result is great. After sanding it all down using Highline Guitar's trick of using an eraser as a mini sanding block, I sealed it all with some nitro sealant. I'll come back to it later to fill gaps and sand it a whole lot more and do the final fitting of the tuning. Thanks for watching.